Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the backstory. If you're new here, kindly hit the subscribe button and the notification bell down below so that you can be notified when we post a new video. Now, ladies and gentlemen, today we want to look at the ramification of the latest political happenings in the country and what impact it has on the deputy president, who is Rigathi Gachagua. Now, as you already know, President William Ruto made some appointments in his cabinet whereby he opted in some ODM officials into his cabinet. And political pundits are now coming up with a story that the only person who has been affected negatively by these changes is none other than the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. And that story has been captured in the Standard newspaper, that is today's Standard newspaper, whereby they say that Gachagua is running out of options. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is running out of options, both within central Kenya and in Kenya as a whole. Because Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has political ambitions of taking over from President William Ruto, maybe in 2027 or even in 2032. But the question is, does he have what it takes to take on President William Ruto, or will President William Ruto support him come 2032?
Hata hii maminista wameteuliwa, sisi hatuna shida, kwa sababu sisi katika eneo hili bado poteza chochote. Rebecca Miano amerudishiwa yake. Murang'a tumepata, Kirinyaga tumepata, Kiambu tumepata, Embu tumepata, Meru tumepata, Nakuru tumepata. Kuna shida. Wale Tharaka Nithi tumepata. Sasa hao wengine wakuja tufanye kazi. Kwa sababu mimi kama Deputy President, kazi yangu ni kumsaidia rais na kuwa mwaminifu kwake na kumheshimu. Ili ameamua, mimi nafuata, kwa sababu mimi ni msaidizi wake na siwezi bishana na yeye. Kwa hivyo yale yote amefanya, sisi tumekubali. Yangu nimetetea na imefanyika. Mimi nimesema niangaliliwe hii, imeangaliwa. Sisi tunaendelea. Kwa hivyo hakuna shida na sisi tunaendelea kuwa waangalifu.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed true that the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has political ambitions, that is, of being the president of Kenya at some point. And before the protests that rocked this country by the Gen Zs, it's indeed true that there was some kind of misunderstanding between the president and his deputy, Rigathi Gachagua. And you guys saw what was happening, up to a point whereby the deputy president was trying to use whatever was happening then to play a victim and rally Mount Kenya voters behind his back. And President Ruto kind of felt threatened. And what President Ruto has done that has made Rigathi Gachagua to be in a very, very tight position is, one, he has made Rigathi Gachagua to be in a position whereby he's replaceable, both in central Kenya and outside central Kenya. Being replaceable in a way that right now, if President Ruto is to look for someone within central Kenya and replace Rigathi Gachagua in 2027, that will still give him, it will still be a plus to him, because Rigathi in a way doesn't have like a solid backing outside, let me say Nyeri or Madira. So if President Ruto is to do something like get someone like Ndindi Nyoro or someone else within central Kenya and run with him as his deputy in 2027, still Rigathi Gachagua's oster might not have a very, very big impact on President Ruto's campaigns in 2027. The same thing applies to outside central Kenya. If he's to be replaced outside central Kenya, Rigathi Gachagua does not have like political base or support or even friends, political friends with outside central Kenya, so that whenever he's done away with, there will be no ramification to Kenya Kwanza or even to UDA. And that puts Rigathi Gachagua in a very tight spot. Secondly, is also made him to be replaceable in a way that President William Ruto brought in a checkmate to Rigathi Gachagua. And that checkmate is none other than Musalia Mudavadi. So Musalia Mudavadi came in as the chief cabinet secretary. And if you saw what happened in the last, after President Ruto sent his cabinet secretaries packing, Musalia Mudavadi remained as still the chief cabinet secretary, serving in all these cabinet positions. So he's like the main man in the Kenya Kwanza administration, is the right-hand man to the president. Rigathi Gachagua, as the deputy president of Kenya, does not have like clearly defined roles. Even though it's stated in the constitution that he is an assistant to the president, but he doesn't have clearly defined roles. Mudavadi comes in, is made like the foreign affairs CS, is also the chief cabinet secretary, overseeing implementation of policies of the Kenya Kwanza administration. So Ruto brings him in, he becomes like Rigathi Gachagua's checkmate. He's being told like, hey, you guy, if you don't play ball, we can replace you both in central Kenya and even outside central Kenya, and nothing will happen. So this is the second thing that puts Rigathi in a very, very precarious situation. Then the third issue that has now come in is the issue of the introduction of ODM officials into government. It's something that you guys have watched and have heard Rigathi said over and over, that the Kenya Kwanza administration is kind of a company that the majority shareholders have a higher stake into. And this is something that he ramped and has been singing all along. And the expectation was that he was going to be a deputy president who had a clout, who had some power, and would be able to like shield the number of voters or the number of votes that he gave to President William Ruto. But it's turning out that whatever he was talking about has been watered down. So the introduction of ODM officials into government right now still puts him into a very, very tight corner back in central Kenya. Because he came out as the kingpin and the defender of central Kenya interest in the Kenya Kwanza administration. So the question back at home or in central is, what did you do to protect our interests? What have you done as the second in command to make sure that we benefit or we get the maximum benefit out of this government? And you saw just the other day, someone like Mwangi Kiunjuri came out and said, oh, it was Rigathi Gachagua. He did not say it outrightly, but he was insinuating that it was part of the people who were kind of mobilizing youth, which I don't know if it's true or not. But that tells you that there is a lot of pressure from his background. There are guys who have also come out, like Kimani Ngujiri was also talked about the same. So Rigathi finds himself in a situation whereby he himself kind of contributed to it, but still President William Ruto's handlers are also trying to put it in that corner so that he becomes loyal to, he remains loyal to President William Ruto in 2027 and 2032. Because as we speak right now, Rigathi Gachagua does not have like any option. If you are to ask, what option does he have heading to 2027 and 2032? And that is where now I'm telling you that he has no option but to toe the line. And that is what President William Ruto has created in such a way that he becomes kind of restless and without no option going into 2027. So the only option that he has, one, is to remain loyal to President William Ruto in 2037, because he knows that even if he leaves, there will be no political impact in central Kenya, because he can be replaced. You know, the only thing that made President William Ruto tick in 2022, it was the deputy president of Uhuru Kenyatta. And he made himself to be irreplaceable then, because Uhuru Kenyatta could not replace William Ruto heading to 2022 with anyone from Rift Valley and get the overwhelming support. Still, even if if William Ruto walked out of Uhuru's government, there was going to be a very, very huge impact. And William Ruto was very clever in that he not only concentrated in his base, which was Rift Valley, but he went out and captured the hearts of people in central Kenya, in Coast, Nairobi, and all that, and endeared himself to the people as a hustler. Unlike William Ruto, Rigathi Gachagua doesn't have like a solid political base in central Kenya. And secondly, he doesn't have friends outside central Kenya, such that if he's replaced, then William Ruto going forward will have like a very huge political impact. So the only option that he has is to remain faithful to William Ruto in 2027, so that he can still retain his position as the deputy president of Kenya. The other option for him is to wait for 2027. Then after the election of 2027, he can pull like a rebellion kind of against William Ruto, just the way William Ruto did, so that by that time he will be able to form his own political base, play the victim card, and maybe form his own political party, rally the Mount Kenya region behind his party, then try to look for political friends outside of central Kenya. But as we are right now, William Ruto's tactics have worked against Rigathi Gachagua. So it's a matter of wait and see as we move into the next 2-3 years heading to 2027. But as we speak, Gachagua remains in a very tight spot politically. So ladies and gentlemen, that is it from me. Until next time, bye-bye. But if you're new here, kindly hit the subscribe button and the notification bell down below so that you can be notified when we post a new video.